Let's get a quick fish room update in. Today I'm going to be harvesting, maybe harvesting is not the right word, but I'm going to be taking a whole bunch of super reds over to the urban fish farm at Cory's new place. And that means I'm going to have to drain a bunch of tanks and get a bunch of good sized, pretty much potentially breeding super reds for Cory. A lot are going to come out of this 40 breeder right here. A lot of babies in there right now, and then some big adults. I think they're back there doing a little sparring. I've got the air turned off, so the filters are not working right now, so it's actually quiet in here. Couple tanks to point out that are kind of exciting. So these are the barbatus that I put together. I posted on the CARES forum about going from having two separate groups and two 20 highs to kind of see if substrate or anything like that had a difference in terms of breeding. Well, there was zero breeding in either of those tanks, and I've since combined both groups into this 40 breeder here. And a bunch of easy planters. And then that's some pennyworth that needs to recover a little bit. Had to win with the plecos, and I think they kind of had their way with it. But nonetheless, these barbatus have probably bred or spawned at least like 3 or 4, maybe 5 times. The first time I did get 2 viable fry that are over in the fry system right now with some super red longfins. But since then, though, I've had trouble with the eggs. They've all been fungusing. I've done the egg tumbler. More recently, I've been using the breeder box for that. And I think actually what's happening is snails and a pleco in here are getting to the eggs before I pull them, and I think they're damaging the exterior of the egg, and that's resulting in the egg just within like a day or 2 fungusing after I actually pull them. So, you know, if I had like a microscope, I could actually check and see if maybe I could see any abrasions or bite marks or, you know, any part of the egg that isn't actually, you know, looking round or spherical, I guess. But yeah, these guys are super happy in here. Very cool fish, and you know, kind of, I've got the first part of the puzzle figured out in terms of get them all together in the big group, and they will spawn. They're eating baby brine shrimp every day. They get a treat of bloodworms every once in a while, or frozen bloodworms, and then of course extreme, you know, nano krill flakes and sinking pellets. Yeah, sorry, I was drawing a little brain fart there. But yeah, super cool tank. Really enjoying this. What else do we have going on? Lighting's a little bit low right now, but here are the Geophagus pellegrini. Here's most of my first successful spawn with them. So, man, my tanks are so dirty. Glass on the front, but it's all good. So yeah, there's those guys. Very, very happy about them. There are a couple more in this tank, which these guys are looking real chonky. This is where they originally were, and they're in with some super red long fins. Again, dirty bottom on the tank. Dean would, my essence of Dean goes away every time I have a little bit of dirt in my tanks or a little bit of mulm. So nonetheless, a couple pellegrini that escaped when I first wanted to pull them. What else is exciting? Let's see if we can see here. The betta rubra that I got from Gian from episode 90 somewhere, something in there. But, so male or female? That might be the female. I don't know. I'm not really a betta rubra expert, but nonetheless, here's one of the little fry. Get in there. Focus on them. But yeah, that's one. There's maybe 2, 3, 4 of them in there, so that's kind of cool. And I have pulled the males when they're holding, and I've moved them to a different tank. There's no longer Bosemani Rainbow in here, so I need to update my little chalk marker. But there should be a little fry that we can see somewhere in there. So one of the, oh, there's a male. So this guy was holding, and I went ahead and moved him into this tank. And he definitely had at least one fry in here. Maybe he ate them. I don't know. I'm a wild betta noob. We'll get this figured out though. And then a bunch of tanks have just a lot of this. So what, leertail, mollies, calico, blacks, oranges, all mixed. This is the main 30 breeder where they're just going absolutely hog wild. We've got some Windelov in here, Java Fern Windelov. We've got dwarf sage. And it's just really, the dwarf sage has just exploded in the crushed coral, which I thought was super cool. And this tank is just really, really fun. It's a bummer it's up on the highest shelf. Because it's just so fun to look at, and I know my boys would really enjoy it. They'll get up on the ladder, or I'll hold them up and they can take a look at it. And then I'll scoop out a whole bunch and I'll move them to a grow out tank. So here's some right here growing out. These, I would think, I'll show Robert a picture of them, but these should be ready to go to the retail store. And then here's a few black ones that I pulled out. Wasn't looking for a specific color. I was just netting, just taking nets at a time. And I should probably reduce the pressure on this tank as well, and do like 3 large scoops, move them into a bunch of different tanks, because I still have a decent amount of capacity all across the fish room. In this jar I have some angel eggs that didn't make it. So a little methylene blue in the water, but yeah, not viable eggs there. And in this jar, might be hard to see, but there's about 4 or 5 panda Corys at the bottom. And then there are some rainbow fish as well, float at the surface. And those came from this tank. So Praecox rainbows, oh, reflection. Praecox rainbows looking real good. And Chillerthena ungulums from Gary Lang, those purpley guys, longer purple sardini looking thing. And in here are panda Cory. So there's a panda Cory right there, hanging out. And the Java moss, the Java moss is getting absolutely insane. So I mean, these guys, both the panda Corys and the rainbows, are just breeding absolutely like crazy in this tank. My mop fell off of its cork, so I got to fix that. But every once in a while, I'll go through and I'll just pull eggs. And you know, bigger eggs end up being the Cory eggs, and then the smaller ones end up being the rainbow fish eggs. I think I'm actually going to separate out the Praecox because Robert was saying that, you know, we really need to get a bunch more of those going into this store because they do so well. So I think I'm going to separate this rainbow fish group, put the Praecox in their own tank, and then really focus on that. It's just a bummer that the Praecox, they're just, the rainbow fish in general just grow so slow. And I am doing brine shrimp every day. Again, air is off, so I need to get that cracking, but this is what I'm gonna harvest today, and then that's the batch from yesterday that I'll harvest tomorrow. Oh, what else exciting to show you? Anything else super cool? Let's see here. Yellow labs in this back tank, and one of the females has actually been holding. She's held before a couple times, but I haven't gotten in there and stripped eggs or anything. This is super dirty tank, algae everywhere on the glass. I actually need to get something in there for algae control on the plants, but nonetheless, that's kind of a cool little thing that I wanted to start, just trying some African cichlids. And the Tropheus group, they're still doing pretty good in here. They're, you know, hiding from me, of course, like why wouldn't you hide as I have a camera out? But enough of that. I'm going to start harvesting a whole bunch of super reds for Corys, and I'll pop back on and show you what that looks like. One 10-gallon cleaned out, 7 1 2 3 4 5 6 yep, 7 real nice looking super reds for Cory. Big 40 breeder right here. Pretty well depleted now of like big breeders. I'm keeping a couple males, couple females, but for the most part, and this is actually one of the chonks I'll keep. This boy is big. So that bucket down there is, I mean, it's a decent sized bucket down there. I mean, he'll fit fully in the palm of my hand. This guy's super cool. And then this is everything that I'm gonna give to Cory. I mean, there are big males in here, there are big females in here, and I was able to get some, you know, some smaller guys too, but that should be a nice boost to super red production for Aquarium Co-op coming from Cory's new fish room. And the cool thing about this is that these are actually all offspring from Cory's original super reds that he gave me, you know, 2.5 years ago when I started with the co-op. And those originals are actually in this tank up here. So those are the two original, the male, female. That's all it was just one male, one female that were in different tanks at Cory's in Cory's fish room. Took them home, and kind of the rest is history as far as just really enjoying working with these guys. I mean, such a rich, vibrant red on them. Just such an awesome fish. But yeah, that dinosaur right there, I'm gonna keep him. And then let's see here. A ton of ram's horn snails too. So these were just like incidental bycatch in the tank. I'll send Robert a picture, see if he wants these for the retail store for you know, puffer food and all that good stuff. To the urban fish farm, the co-op compound, fish in the bucket, Popeyes, chicken sandwiches on top. Yummy. All right, happy belated birthday. You get your fish back.
Thank you, my own fish returned.
But improved because I bred them.
You did make more.
There are some chonks in there too.
Did you go to the bathroom in this bucket? You can smell it.
What are you talking about? Smell it. That smells like...
You gotta go smell some.
That's delicious. Oh, there's no fish in there.
Yes, there is.
Get out of here.
There's probably more fish in here than in your fish room right now.
True story. There's only 17 times the amount of tanks too.
Lights aren't even on. Warm though. It feels like a fish farm. I just wanted to move over here so they can...
Oh, this is nice in here.
Sit over here.
All right, let's go eat some Popeyes.
Yeah.
And here they are in a pond. Cory will come in and sort them later. Happy belated birthday, Cory.
That's right.
You got some super reds back.